Hello and welcome to episode 10 of Eternally Destined. Have you ever heard of osmosis? It's really interesting. Osmosis is when there's a membrane and it's permeable so things can go through it, and there is a solvent on one side or the other, like salt water. And what happens is if there's a high concentration on one side and a lower concentration on the other side, the high concentration will move through the membrane and try and equal out the two sides. It tries to reach an equilibrium, going from a high concentration to a lower concentration, but it never goes back. So it always tries to reach that equilibrium. It wouldn't continue to pass through the membrane and continue to feed the concentration on the other side. It would just level out. Well, the reason why I thought this was really interesting was I was thinking about osmosis, and especially with salt water. God calls us to be the salt of the earth. And it says that, if the salt has lost its savor, it's no good. It should be thrown out. Well, how is it that we can be the salt of the earth? And I was thinking, it's by osmosis. What I mean is this. If I am at a lower concentration of salt than those around me, I'm not giving. I am not the salt of the earth. I would be receiving something from someone else instead of giving. And we are supposed to give. So how can I give? Well, I have to be of a higher concentration, a higher salt concentration than those around me. Okay, how can that be done? Well, the only way that we can be of a higher concentration of salt than those that are around us, than the world, is by first going to the highest source of salt content. And in a spiritual sense, that would be God. God is the ultimate, the infinite. He has an infinite amount, an infinite source of salt. And so the more time that you spend with God, the scripture says, by beholding you become changed. The more time that you spend with God, the higher concentration you will become. And since God is infinite, He has an infinite supply, and you could never equal out. You could never reach an equilibrium with God to be the same. So He will continue to provide you with higher and higher concentrations of salt. And then, by spending that quality time with God in a relationship, your life will automatically look and be and feel like a higher concentration of salt. And so when those that you come in contact with around you, they will recognize that you've been with God. See, that's the way the disciples were. They had been with Jesus, and people recognized it, and they say, these men have been with Jesus. Because they had a higher concentration of God's love, of His mercy, of His grace, of His compassion. And you could see it in their lives. And so, when you're like that with God and you receive that high concentration, then you are able to go about your daily life and share the gospel. You see, the best sermons that are ever preached, they're not preached with words. They're preached in a life, a changed life. My name is Daniel Rowe, and I just want to encourage you along your journey because you are eternally destined.